Managing Editor of Sports-Tak, Vikrant Gupta, for more on this. Vikrant, good evening. You're joining us live from Colombo, where the Asia Cup is underway. Just a few days ago, we had India and Pakistan playing, and there was so much talk of love between the two nations, about sporting ties uniting us. There could be perhaps another clash coming in the next few days. First, I want to know, what do you think about this entire boycott call? I know that the BCCI has already taken that step of saying, we won't have tournaments with them, but international tournaments, India-Pakistan clashes could still happen. Is there a chance of the BCCI saying no to that as well?
Oh, that's very tricky, Akshita, because unfortunately, that can't happen. And I'm not defending playing Pakistan. Unfortunately, that can't happen. Bilateral cricket hasn't been happening since 2013. I mean, that was the last time India and Pakistan played in bilateral. But unfortunately, because the multi-nation tournaments are devised in a manner where India and Pakistan are the prime teams. So you play them in the ICC tournaments, you play them in the Asia tournament. Now, these two tournaments are also different. I do agree and I do subscribe to the view that the Asia Cup, again, it's a smaller event. It is being run by the Asian Cricket Board, headed by India. Now, that is a tournament where the Indians can actually take a call. If they decide that, okay, let's put this Asia Cup on hold for the next 2, 3, 4, or 6 or 8 years, what happens to the clout in the Asian Cricket Boards? They'll be worried about that, because India, when we say they control the commerce of cricket internationally, they also be clout within the Asian Cricket Boards. Now, the ICC tournament is more difficult for India to either India to boycott, or for India to ask for a boycott of the Pakistani team, because the ICC runs them, and then you have to have every member board playing in that. But one thing that worries me is that every time this thing happens, it's the cricketers who are being targeted. I mean, today I saw that Virat Kohli was trending on social media, abusing him, which is wrong, because Virat Kohli is somebody who not subscribed to these killings. I mean, the cricketers have obviously they have criticized what has been happening. One thing that I can think of what the Indians might do and can do, and they may or may not do it, is when you play Pakistan the next time, maybe this Sunday in the Asia Cup final or in the World Cup, can they wear black band? If they wear black band, you still play the game, but you make a statement. So that ways, the Indian board will not be penalized or sanctioned by the ICC, and they can still make a statement.
That's an interesting point. Let's see if that happens. But Vikrant, one final question to you. Largely, the reason we see these boycott calls is because they say, why give any revenue to these Pakistani cricketers, to any Pakistanis? Is there any revenue that PCB receives when you take part in an international tournament and then you face off against Pakistan?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And honestly, Akshita, when we say India controls the revenues of the world because of the ICC tournaments, don't forget the fact that it is the India-Pakistan game that sells the most. And the India-Pakistan game matters as much to the ICC and the Pakistan Cricket Board as it does to the BCCI. I mean, you take an India-Pakistan game out of the ICC tournament, the value goes down. You take an India-Pakistan game out of the Asia Cup, the value goes down. They had a reserve day for the India-Pakistan game, while they don't have any reserve day for the other games in the Asia Cup. So you also understand the dynamics and the revenue involved. Either you let go of everything. I mean, can it be all or nothing? I have my doubts, because see, what happens is that on days like these, yes, people will come out and say, let's boycott them. But then people will forget. In 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, life will go on normal as usual. The cricketers are obviously, while I've been here in Sri Lanka for a week, 10 days, and I've seen that the Pakistani and the Indian players have been gelling together, talking to each other, mixing up well, and then they talk about the unity and this and that.
Correct.
When such a thing happens, it is the Indian players who feel let down. I mean, tomorrow, why would the Indian players want to face any backlash on social media? I mean, if at all the India and the Pakistani teams are playing in the Asia Cup final on Sunday, imagine what could be the reaction of the Indians back home. While they will watch the Indian.
I think it's very clear that you can't put the onus on a Virat Kohli and expect him to respond directly. He doesn't hold the power. The BCCI does, and it's up to them to take a final decision. But let's again reiterate here that there are no India-Pak direct tournaments that happen. That's a stand that we've taken. It's only in international tournaments that we play Pakistan. And can we see a boycott of that? Difficult really is what Vikrant tells us. Thanks very much, Vikrant, for joining us with all of those details.